not just from my standpoint, but from the entire learning scope of some of the best trainers in the whole world are at this event.
So there's three things that determine success: mindset, skill sets, and environments. Right now you're in an environment, probably the most highly designed learning environment you could possibly ever put yourself into.
I'm BJ Dorman. I'm here with CEO Space TV, and I'm here with one of the most amazing guests we ever have coming, who's joining faculty, actually taking Lisa Nichols. You know how famous Lisa is, who had a little conflict in television land, and when she couldn't make it, Nicole takes over and is teaching for her. Now, Nicole is one of the top, most written about women in the entrepreneur space in the world today. I mean, the top entrepreneur woman on earth, rated and awarded. She is one of the top bankers, women in banking in the United States. And you know, you're 2 decades of seeing banks grow, merge, acquire. I guess you know everything bank.
Yes, everything bank.
Yeah, and so you've seen all the change. I mean, because banks aren't what they used to be. Now they're doing full service, and they're doing investments, and really even getting into business training.
You know, the industry has really been challenged right now, and I just wish I could take every single one of my clients and say, you've got to be in CEO space. The number one thing to assist your company right now is to get yourself in CEO space. Clients, they don't know half of the things that have been taught in, I don't know, the last 3.5 days here at CEO Space, let alone what we still have to offer them in the next few days to come. So it's just, you know, there's a lot of challenges in banking, but business owners can make it through this, Bernie. They're going to make it through this. Millionaires are born every single day. You know, literally thousands of millionaires were made last year in this economy when all of a sudden the world was saying, oh, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money anywhere.
This past season we were in Zellers and was the #1 automotive product in Zellers. Zellers is the second largest retailer in Canada. 4 days ago we just signed our contract with Canadian Tire, which is the behemoth in Canada. I had a previous career where I made a lot of money and I bought a lot of businesses and I let other people run. I've never marketed anything in my life. I walked into CEO Space a babe in the woods, and only being here a member of this family for a little less than 5 years, I could teach a college course now. No problem. Yeah. And I got my knowledge here.
Bernie was talking about becoming platinum the very first time he discussed it. And I thought, look at all the opportunities I've let go by. I said, I'm going to do it. It sounded like the right thing. I don't know how many times you've sat there and said, gee, I should do this. I've done it, and I did it. And it paid itself back in the first week. I, by far, have more organized. I know what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm going to retire early. My business model has changed into multiple streams of income. When I came here, I was doing contracts and proposals. I am now providing what I call the Beltway Navigator. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area, around the federal government. I have an 85% win rate on my proposals, and I've brought $4 billion in for my clients in the last 5 years. CEO Space Network is different from anybody else because people care about what you're doing. The instructors here are fantastic. Many of them work for Fortune 50 companies. Some of them have been personally selected to head up corporations. And you get all this knowledge as part of your one-time membership fee, and you can come back time and time again.
In the business space, when you look at banks starting to really get this service message, We're trying to tell people, and this is good from a banking perspective because you're conservative, but this is a place that is not a seminar or workshop. In other words, it's a new kind of trade show that doesn't use booths, and it builds relationships with those at the top, those in the middle, and those coming up. And the two-thirds a little farther up are sucking up those that are just starting up. So you got a mentor fest here like you can't imagine.
Well, you know what? I have spent 22 years in the banking industry as a bank executive, and I hadn't heard about it. And so I'm here to tell you that in the last 3 days, I have been blown away by what I have seen at CEO Space. Never before have I seen such high caliber faculty, world-renowned faculty. 22 years I've been raising capital in the financial industry, and I learned more in 3 days here at CEO Space about raising capital than I have known in 22 years, and I have raised a lot of money in capital, millions and millions of dollars in capital. It's phenomenal, Bernie. The words don't come to me fast enough to explain the energy that is created here and the gift that is being given here.
Well, I remember when the university came, they looked all over the world for 4 years, and they went away because we weren't accredited as a university. And they thought, well, we'll get a program from Beijing University, or we'll get it from Cambridge, because the head of the university is a multi-PhD statistician from Cambridge, from over there. And so he really looked at data. And then they came back and after 4 years decided there was no curriculum in the world. Everything was built on MBA, middle management modified programming, that from the ground up took an entrepreneur and created hypergrowth, merger acquisition, and IPO exit, took them all the way through. They just couldn't find it. So they decided their PhD in entrepreneurialism was going to be built on our curriculum. I have one gentleman was here yesterday on camera, and he's telling us, and he's not naming the man, I know him though, but he is worth hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions in his net worth. He is here where he had a merger acquisition to come up this week that he has to close. And his coach, is one of our faculty members, said, I'm telling you, put the merger acquisition off. You can do it. You need to be here. So he's come for his new venture that he's launching here. And he said, I know by the end of the week, he's one of my best friends, that I'll be his hero. He'll thank me in his bones, because he'll not only launch his venture faster, better, and more effectively, even though he's at the top. He's going to see investments that he can spot and do, and he's going to have a playground that's new for him, but he's going to change his workspace across all his companies to cooperation, which is what he wants him to do, and he's valuing that enough to come in his private plane and be here.
I said to Bernie a couple of days ago, where have you been all my life? You know, when I started Power Trainings International and eventually sold off that company, where was CEO Space? I could have saved myself 10 years worth of work and handled it in a matter of a year, because there is so much given in one session. Literally, I flew in on Friday, and it goes until not Sunday, but the following Sunday.
The bonus classes are like, if you went home, that was enough.
Oh, I mean, it's Tuesday.
That's more than most people get for the money.
Yeah.
And those are like, I don't want to say throwaway, but those are the extra bonus classes. The real stuff is so fantastic, you just couldn't. It's like, it's the flawless diamonds.
Hello, my name is Barbara Worley, and my company is Emotional Self-Sufficiency Training. And I came to CEO Space back in July of 2009. It was the best decision I've ever made as an entrepreneur. I wish I'd done it 25 years ago when I first started companies. It's been like an MBA. It's been incredible business education. And also to mention, the consultants, the mentors, the people on staff here are fabulous. They care about your business. They want you to succeed. It's a very giving group of people, and I can't think of a better way to spend my time or my money than coming to CEO Space. What I learn here, I can apply immediately to my business, and the people that I meet are right there for me. And it's like always having a team in your corner giving you the advice, the business sense, and also direction. I don't even think about missing it. It's the #1 priority.
Hi, my name is Jeff Ballard, and when I got here, the initial contacts I made were fantastic. I met some great people that I know are going to help me, and more importantly, I can help them with their business. So it's been a phenomenal week. And then just over the last few days, it just suddenly exploded with the people that I've met who are operating at such a different level than I've been operating at. It's given me a whole new avenues, and it's exploded my business concepts. What it is that I want to do is just much, much bigger than what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to make a lot of money as a result of coming.
If people start a company and they don't realize if they get a Costco order or they get a Walmart order or they get a big order that they don't give them money, and they think when they get that paper they can come down to you and the bank is going to finance that.
Right.
But you aren't financing that till they have 3 years of historic turnover.
Can't finance
it's not
it.
bankable.
That's right.
They don't understand that. So they can't finance that growth. So they have to have capital. Like, let's say that order is 100,000 units, not dollars, units, widgets. Well, you have to have 100,000 on the shelf, 100,000 at the manufacturer, 100,000 that is from the warehouse, and 100,000 on the trucks replacing what's rolling over.
That's right.
Who's going to give you that $700,000? Because you can't finance it at all. You have to have capital to be able to say yes. Otherwise, the growth of the success of the good order killed the company. Growth kills companies because they didn't plan for the capital resourcing. And I think that gets us back to a lot of people, not, everyone listening, of course, but some people that are listening right now and you're teaching on this subject, have I don't know what to call it, a terrible relationship with money.
Yeah, they do.
What can
They
you
don't
say, as a
understand it.
banker, what can you say to them I know we don't have a lot of time, but to give them a snippet of how to reframe that old blueprint that was in there and get a new blueprint with their relationship with money?
Well, thank you, Bernie, because I'm telling you, people out there I see every day, every single day in my profession are needy. They need the money. They're needy about the money, and therefore there's no room for it to flow into their space. Instead of showing up in gratitude, being grateful for what they have, that's what opens up the space for the next level of money to come in. But I'll tell you what, I want to speak to the investors just for a second. If I am an investor, and I have plenty of clients that are extremely wealthy, if I am an investor, what attracts me to CEO space is the integrity level. I mean, Bernie, what is the class that you're constantly taught? Over compliance, over compliance, over compliance. I've heard it, if I've heard it one time in the last 4 days, I think I've heard it probably 30 times. And the coaching that goes on here isn't let's make a deal. It's not that kind of style. What it is, you know what? Get your ducks in a row and have a great relationship with those investors. To those of you who haven't attended, you know why I never considered CEO space? Because I've always been an executive of a company. But I've never, except for my own company when I had the CEO title, which of course then I didn't know about CEO space. So for those of you in the clubs and whatnot, and for those of you who that have already been through CEO space once or twice, you got to reach out to the executives of companies and teams because they deserve to be here. Companies can propel to unlimited profits if they can just tap in and tune in to the resources that are here. And trust me, I was a skeptic. When I first came to CEO space, I said, okay, I've been in banking for 22 years. You teach me something about a balance sheet that I don't know. You teach me something about a strategic plan that I don't know. Anything like that. Okay, in the first 3 days, I'm overwhelmed with the intellect and the tools that are given here by top-notch, multi-million-dollar company executives, leaders, business owners. So if you haven't considered coming to CEO space, or you're concerned about the cost of it or whatnot, you know what? You can't afford not to be here. If you're running a company, your biggest asset is your people, but it's also your biggest expense. And unless you know how to fuel and tool them and run the mechanics of your company at the executive level, you can't afford not to be here. I wish I had been here 10 years ago.
Greg Reed of 3 Feet from Gold made a nice comment. He said, you are either going to hang out with your life, which will hold you back forever, with whiners, or you're going to hang out with winners. And he said, when you come here, you've made a decision to move away from the whiners and hang out with winners. And I think Nicole is one of the winners that you'll be hanging out with, and you just got the picture. So thank you, Nicole, so much for the words, because it will help somebody. And I hope you'll come up and say, Nicole, I might not have come, but you're being a banker and being where you come from and putting your stamp on it helped me get the bridge I needed to be able to say yes and not miss this. And I tell you, that'll be a big moment, and thank you, because she'll be here coaching you along with the rest of the faculty, and we just can't wait, and neither will you. Thank you for joining us on CEO Space TV.
I'm Linda Champolly, and this is my husband,
Max.
Champolly. And we came to CEO Space first back in 1207. Nobody knows what happened to Max and that he worked for Winston Churchill during World War II as a secret agent, and we wanted the world to know that. We had no idea what would happen. We met people here at CEO Space who introduced us to the woman who became our agent. She's our literary agent and very good friend now. 2 months later, she brought our story to New York, had 7 publishers interested, and eventually, not pretty quickly, within a few days, Berkeley Penguin decided to buy it. And now there is a filmmaker in Hollywood interested in, he's passionate about getting it on HBO as a series. Our book, Churchill's Secret Agent, is coming out December 7th, 2010, and we owe a lot of that to CEO Space.